All right, and we are live, and I'm here with my frequent sidekick, Artistic Layman.
How do you do, fellow kids?
And a couple of things I want to talk about tonight, but guess who's back? Back again. Davis is back. Tell a friend.
Oh, what did you? What happened?
He's streaming now, I think, still.
Oh.
Now, as he posted on his Discord, this stream was going to be the manifold sins of Chris, the comic book guy, Bechtloff. But that's apparently not what it is.
Again,
I'm not sure if I want to do a Bechtloff's Outpost after the regular show, because like I caught like 5 minutes of it and it was really boring. As he usually is. I don't know. We might. I don't know. Chat. What do you think? Should we do a Bechtloff's Outpost tonight about Davis's new show? Press 1 if you want a Bechtloff's Outpost. Press 2 if that sounds boring as fuck. I'll give you a minute on that. But yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's a few things worth commenting on it, but you know, the whole thing, damn. So we got a 2. We got a 2 so far, so people not liking it. Oh man, a lot of 2s. We might not. We got a 3. Not sure what good that does. Bunch of people saying 2. They do not want a Bechtloff's Outpost. So he says there are some choice comments. 3. No, it's not worth it. 1, I won't listen with Bechtloff. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm listening to it right now. Not much is going on.
That's sort of the story of Davis's show. Congratulations, Davis. It seems you may indeed be too boring to make fun of.
But I guess he's taking calls now.
He's taking calls now, is he? I doubt he'd take mine. I don't know. Maybe we'll still do it. I'm not sure. You know. So he says 4. I don't know what the numbers mean. I can't see the stream. Bechtloff's Outpost. Yeah, we're gonna do a Bechtloff's Outpost. I don't know. Davis. You might actually be too boring to mock. We'll see. We'll see. So we got a couple of articles we're going to talk about. I guess we'll start with a bit of a lighter news. I think I covered this on here, but let's have a little article on the subject anyways. This is from Bounding Into Comics, which is a non-cucked comic news site. Rare, but there are a couple. So the article is entitled "New Reports of Empty Theaters at Captain Marvel Add to Movies Controversy" by John F. Trent. It's from the 13th, a couple days ago.
I tried. I really did. I tried to be nice.
Lately. I'm trying to move through life.
We had Davis hopping on there.
Yeah, my video on mute for some reason.
He's trying to move through life, is he? Oh, jeez. What a pretentious fuck. It's so boring. Like a second of him is boring. Oh, okay. So I threw the article in the chat, Luke, if you want to bring it up. So, new reports of empty theaters at Captain Marvel add to movies controversy. The article goes on. New reports of empty theaters for Captain Marvel's weekend showing are the latest in the movie's ongoing controversy. A number of Twitter users indicated there were empty seats at a number of Captain Marvel showings over the weekend. One tweet says, "This hashtag Captain Marvel report from my local theater is shocking. Out of 22 showings on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, there were over 570 empty seats from advanced ticket buyers who never showed up. While on Sunday there were only 4 shows for the movie all day." And then he goes on, "My theater manager friend called me and told me something very interesting. He says Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night, a great many of Captain Marvel advanced ticket buyers never showed up to see the movie." maybe something just came up. We spoke with a movie manager who asked for anonymity. He told us they had exactly 25 no-shows for every showing of Captain Marvel on Thursday through Saturday. That's per showing. Per showing. The manager told us this was definitely abnormal. It's definitely not normal. People usually show up when they pay for tickets. I'm not sure what it is. We've seen big groups not show up before, but they get refunds. I asked whether or not these tickets were purchased in bulk, but that information isn't available. I'm not sure if they were all bought all at once because Fandango doesn't give us that information. But exactly 25 no-shows for every show is probably statistically impossible. The manager added, I would say it's someone trying to make the ticket sales look better than they really were. He would also indicate he saw significant drop-offs in ticket sales from Sunday at his theater. Sunday for Captain Marvel wasn't good, and Monday and Tuesday were terrible. They were like 75% drop-off from Sunday. Box Office Mojo reports Captain Marvel's Sunday take was only $38.8 million at the domestic box office, a drop-off of over 26% from Saturday. On Monday, the decline was even worse. The film dropped nearly 72%, bringing in less than $11 million, putting its total gross at over $164 million so far. Captain Marvel has been mired in controversy. One American News Network, Jack Posaic, called for fans to avoid seeing Captain Marvel and still see Alita Battle Angel, following Brie Larson's comments insinuating she wanted less white men covering her on her press tour and reviewing the movie. What do you make of these reports of empty theaters? Do you think people were trying to prop up Captain Marvel during its opening weekend? I'd be kind of curious. Let's say we confirm that Disney was outright doing this through some sort of shell company. Is that illegal? Is that because you could say, well, who's it hurting? Isn't it kind of, deceiving your shareholders and deceiving, what I mean? Like, it's one thing, okay, you deceive critics and moviegoer or whatever. Gaslighting the general public, I guess, isn't technically illegal, or else the entire city of Hollywood would probably have to be arrested. But that kind of strikes me as a sort of thing that seems like deceiving shareholders, if indeed Disney is doing it, which I suspect they are.
Yeah, it strikes me as it's one of those morally ambiguous things. I'm pretty sure this would be a form of fraud.
Yeah, I wouldn't, if I was a shareholder and Disney was playing all kinds of games to move money around to make it look like their movies are doing better than they are, I think I'd be a little upset about that. I didn't have a ton to add on that. I just thought it was very interesting because Captain Marvel not doing so bad in the theater. It actually did okay, supposedly. Was one of the things the SJWs tried to be like, see. And I mean, I never thought it would bomb. I just thought it wouldn't do that well because, the strength of the Marvel brand alone is gonna put butts in the seat.
I wanted to see it burn, but of course, that was a hope.
Yeah, I'd love it if it made, $38 all total. That'd be fucking hilarious. But
and if this article is true, that just might be the case.
Yeah, but I knew that wasn't real. I mean, I'd also love it if I won the Powerball tonight. I'm not exactly planning on it, I haven't started spending that money now. Let's see what else we got tonight. I guess we can talk about the shooting if we must.
What's there to talk about? So, I mean, it's everything that's wrong with every single shooting, but now it's going to be amped up to 1 million with the supposed shooter.
I mean, first of all, I don't give a shit that a bunch of Muslims got shot up. I mean, okay, yeah, I don't particularly like people being murdered, but, it's not like the Muslim community has, engendered a great deal of goodwill in me that I'm oh so concerned about what happens to them.
Yeah, there's a particular Twitter person that posted 5 shootings that happened since 2012. Well, they're done by white supremacists, but in that same time, there have been at least 20 Islamic terrorist attacks in America alone.
Yeah.
In a country where Islam only makes up 1% of the population.
Yeah, that guy shooting up the gay bar might have beat the combined high score of all those white supremacists. Somebody says James Gunn is back directing Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Yeah, I figured that would happen.
Well, good for him.
You know, as soon as the heat died down. I mean, in all fairness, I didn't really. How should I put this? The tweets alone from James Gunn weren't really enough where I thought he should necessarily be strung up. I mean, I said at the time, I'm like, I'm not mad at I don't hate James Gunn because of his tweets. I hate him because he's a communist. And so I'm happy to see bad things happen to him anyways. You know, I mean, I'm not concerned about playing fair. Don't get me wrong with these people anymore, but yeah, I'm also not all that worried about it. Steve's Jerky sends $5 super chats and says Sheets Tendy's fun until AOC gets in there. Oh yes, I almost forgot. I need to make I made this last night, but I'll make it on the Saturday show. I need to make an announcement, everybody. I just want to say that I am formally endorsing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for president because she promised me unlimited tendies and a weekly hand job as long as I get enough good boy points. So that's where we're at now. So that's what y'all think. You're all so fucking ahead of the curve with your gang, but once again, the clever Bulbasaur is 3 steps ahead of you. I'm already with her. Oh. Yeah, I can't. So he says only if they're Nintendies. That should be a brand. If we can stamp out some chicken tenders in the shape of Mario or something. I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about the shooting. It's kind of weird. Like everyone's like, oh, what about his manifesto? From the little bits of his manifesto I read, it wasn't really a manifesto. It was an obvious shit post. Like you're going on about PewDiePie and Candace Owen and shit like that. Come on. Like he even said at one point, like, I'm trying to get the left to really attack the right hardcore. Like, and then of course, you know, dense as fuck boomers like Michael Savage are just like reading it like it's, oh well, you know, this is his manifesto. I'm gonna take it seriously. He wants everyone to subscribe to PewDiePie. Come on.
Cuck boys around the world saw an opportunity, a golden opportunity, to get chicken tendies from the good boy police and earn good boy points.
Somebody says, don't forget Spyro 3 taught him about ethno-nationalism. Was that in there? Because I didn't read all of it. I'd believe it was in there. I mean, the whole thing was an obvious bunch of bullshit. Yeah, I mean, look, am I happy with Trump? No, not exactly. All right. I understand he's got monumental opposition from both parties. Do I think he should be working harder on the things he promised? Absolutely. But I mean, am I gonna vote Yang Gang 22? Fuck no. Come on. What the fuck, man?
I recently discovered a channel called Savage Nation, which is not connected to Michael Savage, and it's just random clips of congressional committee hearings where you can just see the petulance and childlike behavior of our opposition. And I go, no wonder Trump can't get anything done around here.
I mean, I'm not voting for Chairman Mao because he promised me 1,000 neat bucks. I'm not doing it.
1,000? Pff, come on, I'm worth more than that.
Yeah, I like the idea that Democrats might be moving it in a more populist direction, and I do like the that he's talking about breaking up the big tech, and I do like that he's you know, the post office bank thing is a good idea. Okay, fine, but you know, I hope that him being out there gets more people talking about those handful of issues. That would be wonderful. Does that mean I'm on the Yang Gang? Fuck no. Come on. Like, well, Donald Trump didn't give me everything I wanted right away. We don't have a new wall decorated with Hillary Clinton's skull yet. I mean, yeah, I'd love it if that was what we had right now, but come on. You know, back in the 80s, the religious right in the late 70s, when it was first starting to become a real force, they were one, not the only, one of the instrumental things that got Reagan elected. And then they all kind of sat back for a couple of years and figured Reagan was just going to give them everything they wanted. And they quickly learned, okay, that's not going to fucking happen. And then they began doing grassroots things and, you know, affecting local governments and built a real infrastructure that was quite the political force going up into W's presidency. It's really only collapsed in relevance at the end of the 2000s, you know, beginning of this decade. And it still has some relevance. It's just, you know, evangelical culture isn't as uniformly neocon Republican as it once was. But the point is, you know, they now I understand that the alternative right, the dissident right, there's obstacles we face that they didn't. You know, we're getting kicked off the internet, sure, but I mean, they didn't even fucking have an internet. You know, we're getting thrown out of financial. I get it. But at the same time, you can't tell me that if there was even much of an effort. Okay, I didn't see a lot of even trying to get involved in the local GOPs or anything like that. I saw, you know, goon rallies with tiki torches and fucking your mother-in-laws. So don't give me this shit about, oh, Trump failed us. You know? I said 2016, 2018 is what we immediately need to be focusing on. Okay? You know, Chunk Yu-Gi-Oh! has managed to conquer the Democrat Party or is well on his way to doing so. Okay? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, that fucking Muslim bitch whose name I can't remember and frankly don't particularly want to learn. You know, a handful of the Justice Democrats, they're all basically owned by him.
And they all act like him too in their presentations.
All right. He positioned himself into getting all that stuff out there. Who on the dissident right did that? Who on the dissident right even tried to do something like that? How did you get outwitted by the big brown buffalo? I mean, Chunk Yu-Gi-Oh! is borderline retarded. How did he figure this out? And so yeah, am I happy with Trump? Not entirely. Am I going to vote for Trump 2020? Of course. You got a fucking better idea? And no, free tendies isn't a better idea, okay? This is ridiculous. And, you know, while he's talking about the loss of jobs and the loss of, you know, the declining, you know, the deflating wages and living, you know, and quality of life and all this other sort of stuff. But I really think you're kind of missing the point when you talk about, oh, this is all caused by automation. It's all automation did this. No, it's not. Okay. What's caused wages to stagnate for decades, to deflate, is immigration, is globalism. That's what caused that to happen, not automation. The entire history of humanity is one of automation. Right? Ever since our species first existed, we have tirelessly tried to reduce toil and increase productivity. And it has been an ever-increasing march in that direction. So the automation problem, you can argue maybe it's speeding up a little faster than things have the ability to adjust for. That's an argument. You know, Tucker Carlson said, you know, he would, if he was president, he would put the brakes on automatic trucking just because, you know, he doesn't see a replacement for those kind of jobs, that sort of thing. Or you know, he'd pass a law that just for safety reasons, there has to be someone in the truck to be able to take control of it if need be or something like that. That's understandable. It's one thing to say, okay, we need to be, you know, responsible about this. We need to, you know, technology exists to serve us, not the other way around kind of thing. I get that. But this idea that, like, you know, in 10 years, it's going to be a bunch of Terminator robots working at the factories, making endless supplies of widgets, and nobody's going to have a job. Well, who the fuck's going to buy the widgets? You know, things like the corruption of our financial institutions, our financial system, you know, problems like the fact that our money is worthless. We're not on a gold standard anymore. You know, it would be nightmarishly painful to get us back on it, even though I think long term we eventually do have to get back on it. Globalism, you know, an open border, letting all these fucking third worlders come in, you know, that's what's driving down the wages. All right, it's a dipshit, half-brain Luddite answer to say that automation is doing it.
Gosh, I wonder why real wages aren't budging. Gosh, I wonder why there's such a huge deficit. I wonder why the debt is so large. Got a lot of unfunded liabilities? It might be on the trail. Of course. Ooh, I wonder if there's a widening wealth disparity between rich and poor in the United States. I bet you that's the fault of the free market, because Lord knows immigration isn't run by the government. Immigration isn't some giant government program like welfare.
I mean, yeah, automation is not the problem, okay? That's not the problem. Like I said, the entire history of our species has been one of automation, has been one of looking at the work that needs done and say, what are some ways we can make this so I don't have to do so much of it? You know, we domesticated animals originally to do a bunch of our work, okay? Oh no, the beasts of burden are going to be doing all the work and no one will have work to do left. Well, it turned out it didn't pan out like that. It turned out there was still work to do. I suspect there's always going to be work to do. Okay, we're not going to ever get to live in a Star Trek utopia where we just go over to our replicator and replicate some cookie dough and then go to the holodeck and jack off to 3D porn all day. Okay, I don't think that's ever going to happen. All right. You know, that's about as feasible as Yang's going to give us all unlimited attendees. It's not going to work that way. Some dude Sam sends $5, says most wignets are basically professional victims. Just like most of the Democratic base, they don't want to improve their lives by applying themselves. That's a good point. Now, look, I don't want to fall into the trap of the dipshit dense boomer who's like, you should just pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Just like I did when I could afford a house working at a fucking Burger King. Like, obviously, our generation is facing problems theirs did not. Okay? You know, we all joke about the $15 minimum wage and the McDonald's employee really doesn't deserve the $15. But let's be realistic. Adjusted for inflation, compared to what your father and his father were making in relative jobs, you know, even going back to the early 70s, okay, a McDonald's employee probably should be making $15 an hour, you know, adjusted for inflation, if wages had kept up with inflation. Now, I'm not saying I'm for a minimum wage because, you know, you can't, you can't artificially fix these problems in this way. Long term, you have to be on a gold standard. You just do. Okay, you have to have a real standard behind your money. I don't know how we'd even begin to get back on that short of a massive reset or collapse. But until we are back on that, the reset or collapse is always, always looming. And also you gotta close the border. Okay. You know what's going to happen if you have globalism? It's going to kind of result in an equilibrium between standards of living. It's going to drag us down. That's what's going to happen. That's what is happening. You flooded the market with people that are willing to work for a damn nickel a day, and you're shocked that wages have stagnated. We should thank God in heaven that they're not lower. So yeah, everybody that says like, "Oh, automation's gonna," I don't know. To me, you sound like a dipshit Luddite, because that's not the problem. Yeah, maybe there needs to be some restrictions on it. Maybe it needs to be slowed down a touch. But again, automation in the broad sense of the term is the entire history of our species. We've always sought to make tools that make the job easier. That means we can get done more with less effort.
You see, class, socialism doesn't lift the bottom up. It tears everyone else down.
Again, I don't want to sound like a boomer and it's like, oh, you got to pick yourself up by your bootstraps. No, I get it. Okay, I get it. Things are fucked out there. All right. And yeah, there's still opportunities. There's still a lot of reasons to thank God in heaven for the blessings you have. Don't get me wrong. But there's certain things that your father and his father before him took for granted that you don't, that isn't as in reach as it once was. Time was a man could work a regular, honest, blue collar job and afford a house and a car and a wife and his 2.5 kids and a cat and a dog, and go to the Jersey Shore for vacation in July. Turned out letting a bunch of third worlders flood into that system drugged that down. But no, it wasn't the automation that did it. So he says Gen Xers are the ones who keep using the bootstrap thing. In my experience, Gen X is worse than boomers. I don't know about that. I mean, Gen X is kind of awful. Don't get me wrong, but no, I'm not voting for Chairman Mao to get my neat bucks. All right, I'm not doing it. Again, if you want to, latch on to some of the issues he's pushing, and say these are good ideas that need some thought, sure. But 3 years into the first term of a presidency, that's had opposition you've never seen in your lifetime, is not the time to be saying, well, I guess we tried. Sign up for them neat bucks.
How about trying not to result in horrible riots that get people arrested and doxxed?
Yeah, maybe goon marches wasn't exactly the best way to try.
I know there's a joke that we can't meme the president to office, but we can't do that.
I mean, yeah, all this memeing culture and all you know, the broader alt-right and the Keck memes and all this other stuff. Yes, it was a factor. It was an important factor, even. But if you're gonna act like that, come on, you're buying your own supply. If you're gonna sit here and act like that's why Trump is president right now, you know, and all these people like Trump is betraying his supporters. You know, he's not lifting a finger for us as we're getting deplatformed. The majority of the people getting deplatformed turned on Trump on a dime. Okay, why would he lift a finger for him? I'm not saying he shouldn't deal with the issues here, but why would he? You know, or just on a selfish level. Let me put it that way. Just on a strategic level, why would he work to make sure Richard Spencer has a platform? Why should he look at Richard Spencer being deplatformed any differently than he would look at Rachel Maddow getting deplatformed? Nailed It sends a $70 super chat. Thank you very much. Saying, according to Yang's website, he wants to set up a council independent of government oversight of Silicon Valley Bugman to control dialogue on the internet and expand FCC powers to control independent media. Also, happy belated birthday, Bechtloff. Yeah, I don't buy the idea that he's really going. Like, look, I like the idea that somebody's talking about the powers that big tech has, but I don't buy that he's going to do it. I don't buy that he would do anything about it. You know, Elizabeth Warren is fucking talking about that shit right now. I don't buy that she would do something about it. You know, these people don't believe in free speech. If the left believed in free speech, the ACLU would be fighting for us right now. But yeah, they're not going to do anything for us. Come on. You know, 555, come on now. They're not going to lift a finger for us. Why would they?
The only Democrat I'm aware of that actually helped, quote unquote, helped us was Clinton. That's only because he had a opposition party in the House. and all the scandal and chaos that went ensued if Clinton was in office. Ugh.
So yeah, like I said, I'm not on the Yang gang, and I find a lot of it cringy as fuck. So you know, I'm not hopping on the Yang gang. Like I said, I'll hop on the AOC gang first. You know, because if you want accelerationism, you might as well go whole hog. You might as well put the pedal to the metal if you really want some accelerationism, huh?
Or at the very least, to have her be our endless source of meme supply.
Yeah. At the very least, I get to stare at them sweet socialist milkers.
Who admitted in a little council that her constituency are illegal immigrants. In passing, like, those are my constituents, you know, the people who can't sign up for citizenship.
Well, she's not wrong. It's okay, though. They vote anyways. But yeah, I mean, you know, if you're gonna vote for accelerationism, let's support AOC for 2024. All right, let's at least have some eye candy while the whole thing burns down. You want $1,000? I mean, I'm sorry. Is this not the same corner of the internet that was going on about how, oh, those damn black people, they can't be reasoned with. All they want is their gibs. I mean, come on. There was a comment on the other video where it was like, I guess Sargon was right about his white N-word comment.
Yeah. Sargon has become incredibly reasonable over the last few months.
I haven't followed him, so maybe he's calmed down. I mean, Sargon's biggest problem As was the biggest problem with a certain esoteric Catholic I once knew was ego. You know, pulling your head out of your ass would go 90% towards fixing your problems there. Speaking of which, I am still kicking around the idea of doing a Bechtloff's Outpost afterwards. I don't know. It might turn to shit, and I might delete it or something, because, I mean, it's like, he's probably really boring, but I don't know. Somebody messaged me and said that he was talking about me at the beginning of it, so maybe just do a short one. I don't know. Then we get bored. Move on. Who knows?
Me love you long time.
We're on the gang. Come on, man. Like I said, I'll hop behind AOC first. That would at least be entertaining. I mean, let's be real. In many ways, AOC is the left Trump. I mean, not entirely, because she's basically a chunk Yu-Gi-Oh puppet. But in that, you know, the more ridiculous she is, the more her constituents love her. I mean, come on. We all love Trump for all the stupid bullshit, like, you know, Bigley. And I have the best thing ever. Everyone agrees. All the people who know about X say that my X is the best X that was ever X. These are good people. They know what they're talking about. Trust me. Believe me. Like, everybody loved that shit.
I still love that.
It's fucking hilarious. And the best part of it was how much it pissed his enemies off. And you know that every time AOC says dumb shit, and we all spurg out like, oh my God, can you believe the dumb shit that she said? You know, the left is laughing their ass off, right? You know, they're like, they're making NPC memes about us on that. Hispanic woman bad. Like, because she triggers us because she's so fucking batshit. You know, we have a hard time even understanding her. Like, she's so far on the other side. You know,
almost as if she's completely detached from reality and she's reading from a script.
So yeah, you can't tell me it wouldn't be entertaining. What? I mean, yeah, it'd be kind of scary. It'd be like hanging around the Joker from fucking Batman. It's like, this is pretty funny, but I'm also afraid I'm gonna die. Taco woman bad. Yes, taco woman bad. Someone suggested that an alternate title for tonight's show should have been Outback Slaughterhouse. But I think that might have, that's very funny, but that might have gotten me showing. I disavow all such things. So he says Taco Bell, Belle. So he says, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what your country can do for Israel. Donald Trump. That's the other thing. Like, look, I hate the Israel shit too, but let's be real. The majority of the public doesn't mind it, or they absolutely love it. Okay, I hate it. Trust me, I wouldn't spend one other red fucking cent to Israel if it were up to me. Okay, I wouldn't care if the ragheads around that country pushed them into the sea. Not my fucking problem. But that's just not, you know, that's not where we are right now.
Mr. Superman, no here.
Taco flavored kisses. Yes. Taco flavored kisses from AOC. There you go. That's right, chat. I don't know. I'm voting Trump in 2020. I think he'll win. I don't think Yang's not getting a nomination. You know, there's already considerable evidence that half of the push for him on like 4chan and shit was a bunch of literally paid shills. So, you know, I think he'll win. I mean, I don't think Warren or what's that guy from Texas, Beto, whatever the fuck his name is, Beta. It should be Beta. Let's just call him Beta. Yeah, I don't think Beta is gonna fucking dethrone Trump. So no, I don't. I'm not worried about it. I'll vote for Trump in 2020. Because again, what other choice do I have? I'm not. Come on. What other serious choice do we have?
Serious?
Yeah. Yeah, we're not. Vote for $1,000. I'm not doing that. What the hell else did I want to talk about today? Probably some other stuff that let me see if I can get my notes here. I know, very, very professional. I was hoping I could I was going to try and wrangle up NC Clark and Zerst, but I couldn't. I can't get. I can never get a hold of Zerst, but I got a hold of NC Clark, but she's got family shit going on. So Zerst, I'd like to have on more often though. Let's see. What else did I want to cover today? Fuck. I don't even remember. Oh, here we go. I wanted to talk about this little article. And yeah. This is it's a bit of a light story here. I'll throw it in the chat. So as I've said before, I really, really love the Orville. That show is fantastic. And we got an article from fxguide.com over here. Orville, a new Seth MacFarlane enterprise by Mike Seymour, and it's from last year. It's from 2 years ago. It's from September 14th, 2017. But what I found really interesting about the article is I didn't realize how much practical effects they were really using. You know, I thought for a network TV budget that a lot of the space shit looked really good, and part of the reason is they don't really rely entirely on CGI for a lot of the shit. They go with a lot of old school models.
Well, there's actually a real ship.
Yeah, this is actually a real. Now they cleaned it up with CGI, obviously the backgrounds and whatnot, CGI, and you know, see that's the best way to do it. I've heard it described before that the best use of CGI is to clean up the strings, as it were. You know, if you watch like, hell, even the original Star Trek, you can see a little bit of it, but every once in a while you see a bit of the string holding the fucking model up. You know, the little fishing wire that they tied to the fucking, you know, Enterprise to bounce it around in space. Every once in a while you can see the damn string. You know, the old 50s sci-fi fucking flying saucer movies were notorious for that. It was practically a stick holding it up. So you know, the old saying is like CGI is best for erasing the strings, as it were. You know, some of the best uses of CGI have always been in concert with practical effects. Jurassic Park, the original, is one of the best examples of this. They used puppets for those dinosaurs anytime they could. Mostly the only time it was CGI is if you saw the whole dinosaur. The Doc Ock's tentacles in Spider-Man 2 is another good example of that. Animatronics almost the entire time. Except when you saw all of the tentacle. But if you only saw part of one of the tentacles, that was an animatronic puppet. And the cool thing is, because each of the 4 tentacles had a different puppet master, they sort of moved slightly different. They almost had a bit of personality to each one, which, given in the movie, you know, each one had its own little AI to it. So it kind of it really fit. It really worked well in that movie. And yeah, let me go ahead and read through some of this here. Set 400 years in the future in 2417, the TV series The Orville follows the exploits of the USS Orville and her crew exploring outer space. The series is from creator and actor Seth MacFarlane, Family Guy Ted, who plays the captain of his mid-level spaceship. In the series opener, between his ex-wife and the vicious alien Krill, but yeah, okay, whatever. I want to get to the special effects shit. One of the things that makes the show very different is the use of traditional models, thanks to the help of some of Favor's senior collaborations, such as Ron Legeno and Glenn Derry, with the main VFX supervisor, Luke McDonald, not to be confused with James McDonald's son, Luke McDonald. This is a different Luke McDonald. Luke McDonald and VFX producer Natasha Francis. The practical model work was done for the season in one initial major model shoot. The material was used and reused throughout the 13-part series in much the way the original Star Trek did The Next Generation. Legato and Derry first started their work together on Aviator 2004. Scrolling through. Sorry. The Orville is an homage to Star Trek The Next Generation, which was a favorite of Seth MacFarlane. He basically makes his own Star Trek series, and they wanted to shoot motion control models again. Rob Legato was famously the visual effects supervisor on 46 episodes of TNG, in addition to coordinating 17 other episodes and directing 2. He also worked on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine early on had amazing model work. The amount of work that was put into the actual Deep Space Nine model was incredible. Like, that thing was like 8 feet long or something. It's really hard to dig up people who know how to do it. So I called up Glenn, and not only did Technoprops, Glenn's company, now part of Fox, build the model and arrange for the motion control, but they also handled converting the Maya and C4D files, converted back into motion. Whatever here. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that it's one of those things where they can't find people to do it anymore. Like, there's so many lost arts in Hollywood special effects, and it's often things that look good or that have value that are just sort of abandoned. I remember when they were doing Team America, like the South Park guys, when they're doing that Team America movie, which is a funny ass movie. They were talking about how hard it was to find people who knew how to work a marionette. And that's really a shame, man, when that sort of stuff dies. And a lot of times it dies for lesser stuff. I mean, you can do more outlandish stuff, but it doesn't end up looking as good. I don't know. Like, I'd take the visual effects of TNG and especially DS9 over Voyager, for example. Like, I don't even know if they ever used the model in Voyager. And it just doesn't look as good at the end of the day. You know why the space station Deep Space Nine looked more real? Because it was real. No, it wasn't a real space station, but it was a real thing. But yeah, I saw that article getting thrown around a little bit, even though it's old, and I thought, that's awesome. I knew there was I knew there was several reasons I liked Orville, but I knew there was a reason a lot of the visual effects looked really good.
I was watching the recent episodes, and I thought it looked really interesting, because how could this TV show have such beautiful graphics? Like, oh, it's real.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain stuff that I'm sure is entirely CG, like the little blob guy, I'm sure is entirely CG. Although I wish they'd use a little bit more practical effects on him when they could. But I also understand it is a show. It's not a movie. You know, it's not going to have the budget of a movie. I mean, the 80s Blob, it's amazing the amount of practical effects they were able to do to make the Blob seem like a real aggressive creature, but also amorphous. Yosef, as much as I really, really like the character, you know, voiced by Norm Macdonald and all, there's a lot of times that it doesn't look good. And there's a few shots I can think of where it's like, why isn't this a model? Why isn't this some sort of practical effects? You know, I think I saw like one scene where it was like just a little like tentacle of his, like a little like, blob arm reaching towards something, and I'm like, that's CG. Why is that CG? You tell me you couldn't make a little puppet tentacle? But all in all, I really like the Orville's visual effects. The Orville's probably the best thing on TV right now. At least that I'm aware of. Maybe there's some, I don't know, really awesome crime drama somewhere I'm not watching currently. I don't know. But the Orville's kick ass.
Now, honestly, the Orville wasn't on. I probably wouldn't watch anything that's on television these days.
I mean, I watched Flash and Arrow for the longest time, and I got so behind on them that I basically will have to catch up on Netflix. And as I understand, they've really run Arrow into the ground by the end of last season into this one. So maybe there was a reason I kind of fell off of it that I just wasn't willing to admit. But those were, at least for a while, very, very good shows, and I do intend to finally finish them on Netflix. Other than that, okay, there's the Orville. I watch Family Guy still some. It's not exactly appointment television for me, but it's still really funny. Like, I'm sorry, I know he's he is. He's a shit lib, but I'm going to defend Seth MacFarlane here because, especially on the internet and on YouTube, like critic circles, Seth MacFarlane gets a tremendously bad rap, and I really don't get why. Family Guy is still pretty damn funny. Even people who don't say, "Oh, Family Guy's stupid, I don't like it." It's like, I can just explain one of the cutaway gags to them. Just explain it, and they laugh. Like I'll be on Forney's show or something, and I'll just this reminds me of a Family Guy cutaway gag where such and such happened, and everybody laughs just having me explain it to them. Family Guy's still pretty fucking funny. Is it hit or miss? Yeah. Is its best days behind it? Of course. But it's still pretty funny. And even a lot of the miss is the direct result of MacFarlane trying to sabotage the show. Like, sabotage. MacFarlane doesn't, you got to understand this about Family Guy. MacFarlane doesn't want to do this anymore. Okay. He clearly wants to just do Orville right now. Fuck Family Guy. All right. And,
which probably explains his anti-trans comedy.
So yeah, he will put really hardcore incest fucking shit in Family Guy, like jokes about incest and all that are make you really uncomfortable. And for a while I was kind of like, what are you doing here? And then I realized he's trying to turn the audience off. Like, he's trying to see how far he can push the audience, right? The whole thing with killing Brian was that, and then bring him right back. And then, fuck you, He's trying to piss you off. And I've always had a soft spot for that kind of Andy Kaufman shit where you're fucking with the audience. So now that I know that's what he's doing, it's not working on me, and I'm actually enjoying it more. When he does those really disturbing bits just out of left field on there. Like, you ever see the YouTuber Mysterious Mr. Enter? He's a guy that reviews cartoons, and he sucks. But the thing about him that really, really sucks is he will review single episodes of shows having the exact same complaints, right? Like, he'll review dozens of episodes of SpongeBob complaining about how he doesn't like the gross out humor in that episode. Or he reviewed it. There was an episode of Family Guy where the plot was Peter finds out that Chris is going to be the inheritor to Lois's dad, Peter's rich father-in-law. So Peter's like, well, gay marriage is legal now, so I'm going to marry my son so that I could get in on that inheritance. Which is a really uncomfortable fucking premise, right? Which, again, that's what MacFarlane loves to do. But Enter is doing a review of this where he's constantly screaming his head off about how this offends him and shit like that. It's like, dude, that's the fucking point. But that's every episode of his where he talks about Family Guy. It's like, the characters are assholes and this is offensive. Like, no shit. I don't understand why he wants to do that, by the way. Like, I've often said I don't like the Teen Titans cartoon, the one from like 03. Because as I said, I don't like the animu manga style. And I don't like the fact that like you completely remove the Justice League from the picture at all, when being in the Justice League shadow is the whole point of the Teen Titans as a concept. You know? But imagine if I reviewed like episode after episode after episode of the Teen Titans, and each time I'm like, I don't like this art style. Where's the Justice League? For like 20 minutes of me bitching about that. You know, sometimes with videos that are longer than the thing I'm reviewing, right? Imagine if I did that for like 40 fucking episodes of the Teen Titans cartoon, right? There you have the mysterious Mr. Enter.
Holy shit! What the holy fucking hell? What the hell were they thinking with this episode? No matter what, Patrick refuses to share because he's a horribly unlikable asshole.
It's like, what, the characters in SpongeBob aren't paragons of virtue? No shit. Yeah, boy, you'll be shocked if you ever watch the Looney Tunes. I got news for you. Bugs Bunny was a dick.
And he's still the best.
You know, I mean, Daffy was a greedy fuck. And before that, he was a schizophrenic maniac. Okay. So yeah, that like I said, imagine that. Like, I might do a video sometime. I did like a little short one, but a video where I would review the Teen Titans as a series and explain why I think it fell short. But like I said, imagine just episode after episode after episode. Like I said, a lot of people want to shit on Seth MacFarlane. People shit on him like, there's only like a few basic facial expressions he uses. And it's like, yeah, the animation on it's really basic. That's true of most adult animations. You know, the animation isn't the point. Okay, the point is the gags. The point is the jokes. And actually, every once in a while, MacFarlane does episodes of Family Guy where the animation is top notch, where they really pull out the stops. They're usually like 1 hour specials that happen like once a season. Like there's the special where they all go to the mansion and one by one people are getting killed, and it turns out it was the news lady doing it. Or the special where Stewie wants to go to the North Pole because he's mad that Santa didn't give him his present or whatever. Those usually end up having really solid animation, because that's where most of the season's budget went. But yeah, I like Seth MacFarlane. I think he's thoroughly entertaining. I think he's funny as fuck. Ted is a fantastic movie. Family Guy was good. All totaled. Hell, even Cleveland Show was okay. American Dad was pretty funny back during the Bush years. It sort of lost its point after that, because once the neocons were more out of power, it really didn't have as much of a point. You know what I mean? But back in like 06 and 07, you know, when Bush was in power, and 05 even, I think is when that show came out. That show was on point right then.
Each bell would peal with a silvery zeal as the holiday feeling was killing us. But now instead all we're feeling is dread, because Christmas time is killing us.
Hopefully that doesn't catch my hopefully that doesn't catch the monetization thing there.
It'll be to see if they follow every single song.
I think it's just professionally recorded music that automatically hits it,
like the Vimo channels.
Yeah, and like if it's actual record company music, I think that the music will catch it. I think you have to like be playing video to catch the algorithm, because you've played movie clips before that never, like the audio of it, that never catch anything. And it's fair use to you know, we're talking about the show, so it's fair use for you. I mean, I'll take it to court. That's fair use if they do demonetize this episode because of that.
And before we go on, I've been trying to find this for the good art style in the Orville.
Oh man, that shit wasn't built; it was poured. Die-cast construction. It's a lost art.
But yeah, I like Seth MacFarlane. The guy's a good entertainer. Hell, he's actually a damn good singer, interestingly enough.
Oh, yes.
He's funny as fuck. Yeah, he's a liberal, but I mean, he's like an old school liberal. You know what I mean? He's like a liberal of 20 years ago. You know, he's very clearly not on board with the social justice horse shit. You know, he has nothing but open disdain for trannies. Hell, he's even kind of hard on the gays, which is sort of funny given the rumors that constantly surround him. But yeah, all in all, the Orville's damn good. The Orville is just damn good, and I fear that it doesn't get quite enough credit precisely because a lot of people want to write it off because it's Seth MacFarlane. It seems to be doing good in the ratings, though, and good on it for that.
Your dad.
But yeah, I like Seth MacFarlane. I mean, hell, even when he did like the Trump episode a couple weeks ago, maybe close to a month ago now, I guess. It was actually kind of funny. Like, it actually made me laugh a few times. It was actually sort of funny. It shit on liberals too. Like, there was like a couple of like really bad jokes and then you'd cut to like Brian in the writer's room and he'd be like, yeah, that was me. I got to write that joke. Like, it wasn't bad, I have to admit. You know, I mean, I can take a joke, damn it. A lot of the reason I so much of the anti-Trump humor from the likes of like Jon Stewart or some shit. Not Jon Stewart, he's long retired, but like what's the other guy? Colbert, or that fucking, I don't know, whatever, that fucking the fucking South African dude, Trevor Noah. Like, those aren't fucking jokes. It's just like, fucking Trump, am I right? Audience cheers. Like, that's not
Family Guy.
Hey, Dad, I want you to meet my new friend, Meg.
Pleased to meet you, Meg. You have a beautiful wreck.
Yeah. I mean, it actually made me laugh. Like I said, Orville's best show on TV. From what I understand, this guy I used to associate with, who was a huge Star Trek fan, actually said he hated the Orville. But I believe the reason he hated it is because it's kind of funny and he doesn't understand humor. Speaking of which, I don't know. I'm still kicking around the idea of doing a Bechtloff's Outpost afterwards.
But yeah, from what I understand, he only talks about it in the first 5 minutes, and there's not much. But we could watch it in advance.
Somebody says, "Do the Outpost." He mentioned you. Maybe I will. I let me put it this way: if I do the Outpost, no promise that I get to the whole fucking thing, because man, it's hard enough to get through hours of that bloviating dipshit when he is talking about me. What the hell else did I want to cover? I don't know. I feel like I should be talking about the shooting more, but it's like I just don't care. Like, some Muslims got shot. Okay. Cool. Like, what do you want me to say about it?
It's been so long since I felt genuine shock and horror on an act of terrorism, and it does suck that my first thought is, okay, how is the left going to politicize this?
I mean, some of it makes me wonder if it's not a I don't know. I don't want to say the F and then F word and then other F word after it because I might get demonetized. Shall we say on an untrue banner? Part of me makes me wonder if it's an untrue banner. But you know, you're not allowed to ask that question. It's funny, like back in the Bush years, the left used to love asking the questions about untrue banners. You know, and they used to say that like Bin Laden was a CIA agent and stuff like that. That was all stuff the left was all about. And now they'll string you up if you say that. So yeah, we're not allowed to question whether or not this is an untrue banner. But personally, I never rule that out anymore. But yeah, I don't care. It's like, oh, some Muslims got shot in New Zealand. What the fuck you want me to do about it? I want you to give up your guns. Well, you're going to be disappointed. Because I don't know what to tell you. All my guns were lost in an unfortunate boating accident. Did we do sponsors? I should do sponsors. We got Steve's Jerky as a sponsor tonight. Did I do sponsors? I can't remember. But if I didn't, here it is. And if I did already, then here it is again. We got Steve's Jerky as a sponsor tonight. So you should get you some delicious Steve's Jerky because it is fantastic. I think I might have to get me a pack of it myself here soon because I don't know. I can feel like my magic shield is depleting. You know, and I constantly got witches and warlocks that want to summon Gozer to come take me down. So I got to keep that mana shield up. So yeah, get you some Steve's Jerky. Good stuff. And also down below, you'll see the PayPal, Patreon, and Amazon wish lists are all ways you can support the show. So keep that in mind. You know. What else did we want to... somebody says, don't talk about the shooting. It's one-way ticket to demonetization. Yeah, how about that? Owen Benjamin got his monetization pulled because of it. Well, yeah, I don't really have anything to say. I mean, I don't. You know, the guy's quote unquote manifesto seems like a massive shitpost to me. I mean, he's talking about like PewDiePie and shit like that. Like,
oh yeah, and when he's arrested on trial, you can see he's trying to do the OK symbol underneath his fingers.
I don't know. I don't trust the conviction of a shooter that lets himself be taken alive too. Some dude Sam sends $2 says it's a word that an ex-wrestler used a lot. Yes, a certain ex-wrestler used that phrase a lot. Spyro Uber. Did he really mention Spyro 3 in his fucking manifesto?
Where was that image? Someone sent me an image. I gotta find it.
Fucking dragon nationalism here.
Ah, here it is.
What's the image?
Oh no, it won't download.
Oh yeah, that's it. The whole show's ruined.
Here we go.
Oh gee. I disavow. I disavow YouTube. Oh shit. Spyro nationalism. There it is, folks. Take the purple pill. Oh. Great White Rabbit says, sends 199, says, talk about how many churches Muslims attack. Yes, Muslims aren't exactly known for being very peaceful. I don't think I'm letting a cat out of the bag there.
Here it is. Especially slang, certain aspects of the Shooter's Manifesto fell into this category. He includes Navy SEAL, copy pasta, a meme that originated from 4chan. He claims that Spyro Year of the Dragon, a video game, taught him ethno-nationalism, and that Fortnite taught him to, quote, flop on the corpse, quote, referring to a viral dance move from the game.
Oh, I hope they televise that trial. Oh, man. Fucking purple nationalism. Oh, man. We must secure a future for dragons and our eggs. All right. I think I'm going to wrap this show up because I've kind of run out of things to talk about, and I don't want to just keep going. But
wait, before we do.
No, ma'am, no dragons. Remember? Did I say no purple dragons? Did I?
But folks, I think we're going to go ahead and do a Bechtloff's Outpost. I think we're going to go ahead and do it. Who knows how far we're going to get into it? But I think we're going to do it. We're going to do some Bechtloff's Outpost, and you know, we're gonna fight for purple nationalism. So let's wrap this show up, folks, and then stay tuned. Here in a few minutes, we're going to set up a Bechtloff's Outpost. So that's all we got for the regular show. And tune in here in a few minutes for Bechtloff's Outpost. Bechtloff out.